Hello everyone. Welcome to my YNR 24 spoilers. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Victor tells Jill some startling news. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Wednesday, October 8th, 2025 include Jack pressuring Kane to make the right choice, Nikki looking for answers, and Victor breaking the shocking news to Jill. The Young and the Restless next episodes. On The Young and the Restless, Jill Foster Abbott Jess Walton is currently embroiled in the most significant story. Watch for Victor Newman to break some startling news to Jill Foster Abbott on Wednesday's episode. In the entire Kane Ashby drama involving his AI software, Victor probably views Jill as a pivotal figure. Despite his passion for business, Victor recognizes the value of family. Victor will try to persuade Jill to do the right thing by telling her what he thinks she should know because Kane sees her as a surrogate mother. If Jill remembers their brief romance with fondness, Victor might be able to get in touch with her, making the 411 dial. If Nikki Newman finds out what she needs to know about the Young and the Restless, she will be overjoyed. Nikki Newman does everything in her power to provide for her family. She approved Claire's request for a leave of absence so she could travel to Los Angeles after her split with Kyle. Furthermore, Nikki makes every effort to steer Victor in the correct direction. Nikki is the only person who can accomplish that. Watch for Nikki to look for answers on Wednesday's show. Is she researching Kane's AI strategy? Or is she investigating another matter? If Nikki can give Victor as many statistics and facts as she can, she will probably be able to persuade him to agree with her. I hope Nikki finds the answers she needs to achieve her objectives. Act morally. On The Young and the Restless, Jack Abbott will make an effort to persuade Kane Ashby to act morally. Billions of dollars belong to Kane. He does, however, have a hazy plan to use AI software to surpass Chancellor Industries, Jabot Cosmetics, Newman Enterprises, and perhaps Winters, Cassidy First, and Crimson Lights. His objective is to win back the affection of his ex-wife Lily and their children, Charlie and Maddie. Watch for Jack to attempt to convince Kane of the importance of acting morally on Wednesday's show. Kane might become the world's owner, perhaps through unlawful methods. But what good would it do if he couldn't have his family's love? Is Billy Abbott his worst adversary or a victim of injustice? Has Billy been fired from The Young and the Restless without explanation? Bill quarrels with Jack and Victoria in The Young and the Restless photo, JPI. What has Billy done to cause everyone to simply stop watching The Young and the Restless? Is he truly that awful? Given the circumstances, let's begin with Jill removing Chancellor from him, which was more about Victor Newman than it was about Billy. As for Kane, well, he knew what he was getting into with Billy before things went south. It's not like Billy changed his ways and changed who he was. On the soap central message boards, fans shared their thoughts. Why did Jill tear Chancellor away from Billy? The Young and the Restless, a humorous train scene with Jill, Kane, and Billy. For good reason, Archangel wrote, "Fire Lily." Lily acknowledged that she was planning a coup to remove Billy from his position as CEO. Such an employee would have been sacked by any CEO. Chance voluntarily resigned from his role as Chancellor after being informed that it was too soon for him to serve as co-CEO. Employ Phyllis. Although Phyllis is an IT whiz, she can occasionally be too much. Billy complied with Jill's demand that she be fired, and Jill allowed Victor to influence her anyhow. In conclusion, Billy was let go because of his fear that he would destroy Chancellor before the business had really begun. Kane fired Billy because of what he did. He seemed overexcited or something, and he was somewhat driven by the desire to prove something to Jill and force it on Victor. Kane abruptly and unilaterally called off Abbott Communications' launch, leaving everyone in a state of confusion and confusion. Billy was, if anything, putting Abbott Communications ahead of Chancellor. It was Kane, the Chancellor before him, who rekindled that fever in him. Billy and Jack argued at that point, and Billy returned his funding to Jack. He relied on Kane to assist him secure funding for Abbott Communications and reclaim the chancellorship, and he was abruptly fired, not for any wrongdoing, but just because he seemed unpredictable. In conclusion, Kane and Jill both threw Billy out of concern that he would do something careless, even though he hadn't. Billy and Phyllis converse on the Young and the Restless photo, JPI. "You are missing whole parts of what happened," was Henovo02's response. Lily rebelled against Billy because he attempted to remove Devon from his own company and sought Lily's assistance. Billy didn't want to share the power with Chance, so he brushed off anything Chance attempted to do. Without getting anyone else's consent, he changed the company's name to Abbott Chancellor and inserted his last name at the top, not out of any loyalty to Jill, but simply because it was his last name. Billy was running Abbott Chancellor into the ground after it had been started. The business was not owned by Billy, it belonged to Jill, but he pretended to be the owner. Billy was undoubtedly acting recklessly, and Jill could see it. He was destroying the company because he was on a power trip. The Young and the Restless, a tense exchange between Sally and Bill, photo, JPI. "This is what a valued contributor said. Who cares? Billy lacks maturity as an adult. He's a lousy entrepreneur. His motivation is retaliation. He is mentally ill. His personality is addictive. He never stops attempting to convince people that he is a hero. He doesn't like who he is or who he is. Do you want to hold his mother responsible for everything he has done? Okay then. I've always maintained that there comes a time when an individual is accountable for their actions. Billy is undoubtedly old enough to be held responsible for everything. What are your thoughts on this? Is Billy unfairly treated, or is he the mastermind behind his own situation and only responsible for it? A maelstrom of ambition, treachery, and uneasy alliances rages through Genoa City in the Wednesday, October 8th, 2025, episode of The Young and the Restless. The main plot point of the day is on Victor Newman's startling disclosure to Jill Foster Abbott, which has the potential to destroy fragile business and interpersonal ties. In other places, Jack exhorts Kane to make a moral decision. Nikki looks for answers, and the shadow of Billy Abbott's demise hangs over everyone's choices. This episode is not only another twist-filled soap opera. Rather, it is a meditation on power, atonement, family legacy, and the persistence of the past. Section 1. The Titan and the Matriarch. The collision course of Victor and Jill. Victor Newman never chooses to meet with Jill Foster Abbott casually. These two corporate war veterans have a lengthy and complex past that combines personal passions, business collaborations, and acrimonious rivalry. Jill's core beliefs are all appended by Victor's announcement, which was hinted to in the previews as shocking news. Spoilers indicate that this news most likely relates to Kane Ashby and his covert use of AI software to control or take over the three main Genoa City empires: Chancellor Industries, Jabot Cosmetics, and Newman Enterprises. Ever the strategist, Victor never shares information without a reason. Jill is more than just a person to him. She may be used as a weapon. He realizes that the only thing keeping the company from going completely crazy may be Jill's maternal instincts about Kane. However, why now? Jill, why? Perhaps Victor is actually experiencing the pressure of his own legacy. The Newman Empire has withstood many storms because to its merciless accuracy, but even Victor is powerless to completely control the threat posed by technology, particularly artificial intelligence. He is aware that a person with Kane's intelligence, ego, and animosity might ruin not only companies but also people's reputations, including his own. There is a silent strain in the air when Victor enters Jill's office at Chancellor Winters. Jill is obviously cautious, despite always being well-groomed and carrying wit sharper than any boardroom knife. She is aware that Victor doesn't stop by to chat. Victor, you're not here to look back. What do you believe I should hear? With a gravelly and purposeful voice, Victor leans in. Before it's too late for Kane, you must learn what he has planned, as well as for you. The weight of common history is carried by the line. One of the storylines that characterized Jill and Victor's complicated relationship and mutual respect was their brief but intense romance. Victor has leverage because of that link, even though it is weak. He plays on Jill's heart, the part of her that still thinks she can prevent her loved ones from killing themselves, rather than her pride. Section 2. The fear of progress and the weight of legacy. More than just a side story, Kane Ashby's AI project poses a novel threat to Genoa City. Technology is the new frontier in a community founded on old money, family-run empires, and established power systems. Kane's strategy to control the market with AI isn't only the result of ambition. It is the result of suffering, rejection, and the need to prove oneself. After being rejected, ignored, and referred to as the second son in each figurative family, Kane's genius becomes tainted by resentment. His goal is to get the world to notice him, not to destroy it. Victor is well aware of this. Jack Abbott, who tries to reason with Kane for a large portion of the episode, agrees. Jack is aware that Kane is crossing a line that could result in criminal charges or personal destruction, even though he is no stranger to moral compromise. Kane, you're the smart one. You possess the drive. However, the consequences are not visible to you. It always turns against you when you begin to play God with power like this. Jack's remarks reaffirm the ethical conundrums that have plagued the young and the restless since its inception. What does doing the right thing actually mean when everyone is involved? Kane listens but doesn't say anything. He thinks he is in charge. But in Genoa City, control is the first illusion to fall apart, as both Victor and Jill are aware. Part 3. The mother, the CEO, and the survivor at Jill's crossroads. Every choice is a personal one for Jill Foster Abbott. She has always worked twice as hard to gain half the respect, starting when she was a manicurist and working her way up to the top of Genoa City's social hierarchy to owning Chancellor Industries. She is now at another fork in the route. Victor's disclosure compels her to face not just Kane's possible treachery, but also her own history of supporting defective men, including Philip Chancellor II, Billy, and Kane himself. She is astonished by how predictable Kane's acts are, not by their actions themselves, when she hears Victor's warning. You believe I'm unaware of Kane's potential? Victor, he's brilliant. He's desperate, though. I've seen that combination before, and it's dangerous. Jill's voice quivers with sadness and authority. She is familiar with the experience of seeking approval through achievement. She has paid the price for walking in Kane's shoes. Ever the opportunist, Victor recognizes this. He pushes harder. Then you are aware of what needs to be done. Reach him before he destroys everything you've worked so hard to achieve. All of Chancellor's values. There are layers of subtext in their discussion. There is a glimmer of their shared history behind the business jargon. Two titans who thought they could take over the world, only to discover that it always wins back. Section 4. Nikki's quest for veracity. Nikki Newman is investigating on her own as Victor and Jill's talk lays the stage for a fresh round of business warfare. This episode's plot revolves around Nikki's quest for knowledge, albeit the details are purposefully left open-ended. Is she attempting to safeguard Newman Enterprises by investigating Kane's AI project? Or is her worry more intimate and connected to Victor's recent fixation on Chancellor Winters? As always, the Newman family's conscience and heart are Nikki. She has discovered that stability is a myth and that survival is the real goal after decades of instability, addiction, and near-death experiences. She is shown in her scenes contacting Claire, who has taken a sabbatical after her split from Kyle. Nikki is the type of matriarch who keeps the secrets of everyone else while keeping her own to herself. She starts to feel Victor is not being completely honest about his interactions with Jill as she looks into his recent behavior. When she overhears a portion of their talk, her expression says it all. Nikki plans to reveal every card on the table, and Victor is once again engaging in risky behavior. Section 5. Jack's request and Kane's temptation. Over time, Jack Abbott and Kane's relationship has changed from one of antagonism to grudging mentoring. Jack serves as the moral compass in this episode, which is ironic given his past. Kane's AI scheme is more than just a technological plot point. It's a metaphor for power over his own fate, over the businesses that rejected him, and over those who questioned him. However, Jack tells him that manipulative power is short-lived. The scene of their showdown is Jabot's boardroom, a symbolic location where innumerable feuds have taken place. Jack speaks in a tough yet sympathetic tone. You are not me, and you are not Victor. You don't need to outperform everyone else to prove yourself. Sometimes it's best to go before you lose yourself. Conflict flickers in Kane's gaze. Rejection has influenced every aspect of his life, from Jill's skepticism to Billy's legacy, overshadowing him to Lily's sadness. He believes that this AI program is justice, not just code. However, in Genoa City, justice frequently comes at a terrible cost. Like a prophecy, Jack's words linger in the air. Kane, you can have the entire world, but what good is it if no one you care about is left to stay by your side? Section 6. The Billy Abbott Controversy, Hero or Enemy. Billy Abbott, Jason Thompson, a character who is constantly straddling the line between tragic hero and self-destructive rebel, becomes the focus of the second part of the episode and the online fan discussion that ensued. Viewers and discussion boards alike have been preoccupied with the same question. Is Billy his own worst enemy, or has he been treated unfairly? Fans engaged in heated argument on Soap Central's forums. Others said that Jill, Victor, and Kane plotted to deprive Billy of his authority and dignity in order to bring about his collapse. Others said that Billy's impulsivity, addiction, and haughtiness are to blame. It is particularly controversial because Jill decided to remove him from Chancellor Winters. A fan wrote, Billy was ejected by Jill because she feared he would destroy the business. However, he hadn't yet. Victor murmured in her ear as she panicked. Another retorted, Billy had already gotten out of hand. Without permission, he changed the company's name to Abbott Chancellor, alienated Devin and Lily, and disregarded Chance's advice. He destroyed himself. Jill didn't destroy him. The argument highlights a more significant reality. Billy Abbott stands for the never-ending conflict between atonement and relapse. His recklessness, insecurity, and need for approval are in constant conflict with his charm, intelligence, and inventiveness. Billy's shadow hangs over everyone in this episode, despite Victor, Jill, and Kane taking center stage in the news. Jill's guilt about Billy is reflected in her worry for Kane. Victor's tone of caution is reminiscent of his earlier warnings concerning Billy's instability. Additionally, Jack's entreaty to Kane seems to mirror his several unsuccessful attempts to save his brother. Section 7. The Human Price of Authority. The young and the restless ability to transform business battle into emotional theater is what has kept it relevant for 50 years. Every business choice has a scar. Every partnership has a wound. More than just a plot twist. Victor's surprising disclosure to Jill serves as a warning that secrets always have a cost. What Jill decides to do with that knowledge could permanently alter her relationship with Kane. Nikki's quest for knowledge may cause her to argue with Victor, rekindling long-standing marital tensions. Additionally, Jack's attempt to save Kane can either save him or lead him to further compromise and guilt. Billy's absence, meanwhile, seems more audible than his presence. The man who had everything and lost it, not because someone betrayed him, but because he couldn't stop betraying himself, is the cautionary story that haunts them all. Part 8. Jill's Predicament. Should she protect or expose? The culmination of the episode revolves around Jill's choice. Should she believe Victor's intentions and step in discreetly, or should she face Kane head-on and run the risk of offending him? Her maternal instincts prompt her to defend. As an entrepreneur, her instincts tell her to look into it. On the other hand, her survival instincts warn her to never trust anyone. After Victor leaves, Jill sits by alone in her office in one of the most impactful scenes in the program. She repeats every word he uttered, the city lights glistening against the window. Her eyes show fear, but her face hardens. Why now, Victor? Damn it. Why him? She murmurs as she grabs the phone. She hesitates, though, because even the truth can be used as a weapon in Genoa City, and Jill has discovered the hard way that timing is crucial. Section 9. Remnants of the Past, Future Seeds. Each plot point in this episode relates to the weight of inheritance, which is a broader legacy subject. Victor Newman is attempting to defend his empire against a new type of adversary that he cannot outsmart or frighten. Jill Abbott is caught between preserving her business and preserving her surrogate kid. Nikki Newman reminds Victor that no empire is worth a marriage based on deception and tries to find out what he is concealing. By keeping another man from repeating his mistakes, Jack Abbott seeks to change his own history. Billy Abbott continues to be the warning voice that permeates every choice they make. This invisible thread also includes supporting characters like Lily, Devin, Chance, and Phyllis. Kane's AI project might have unanticipated effects on loyalties and livelihoods in every part of Genoa City. Section 10. The silence ahead of the next storm. 3 simultaneous sequences produce an eerie symmetry as the program ends. Standing at her office window, Jill clutches her phone but won't ring. With resolve in her eyes, Nikki was looking through private Newman documents. The AI software on Kane's laptop was glowing as he typed frantically, lines of code that may make all the difference. Like a warning bell, Victor's words reverberate softly in the background. What you don't understand is beyond your control. The Young and the Restless then prepares the audience for yet another week filled with treachery, atonement, and judgment. Conclusion: there is always a cost associated with power. This episode perfectly captures the ageless quality of The Young and the Restless. Its capacity to use corporate and familial drama to reflect human nature. Every choice has a personal and professional component. Every betrayal has 2 wounds, a business wound and a blood one. In addition to advancing the plot, Victor's startling revelation to Jill reawakens the series' emotional core. The factors that have propelled Genoa City since its inception are the struggle between loyalty and ambition, love and deception and illusion and truth. And while viewers argue over whether Victor is once again acting as puppet master, Kane is redeemed, or Billy is misunderstood, one fact is clear. On The Young and the Restless, every partnership is fleeting, but the effects last a lifetime.